Yeah. Why do you think we need significance in our lives?
I thought a lot about this from an evolutionary biology perspective. Uh, I have no doubt that hope is hardwired and spirituality came from our desire for hope. And then
Mhm.
religion was buckled on top of that. Um, and right next to hope, it seems to me, is a feeling that we actually have agency and that we actually can do something about the things we hope for. So, hope probably gets us to meaning, and meaning, I think, gets us to a desire for significance. And just about everyone I've ever read, even if they are paralyzed in fear, still wants, dreams, hopes for meaning.
Where do you think most people go wrong when it comes to creating a life that they do feel very significant in every single day?
I don't know if it's possible to feel significant every single day.
Of course.
I think that a big part of it is the story we tell ourselves. There are people who, they're number 5 on TikTok today and they're sad because they're not number 1. That's just crazy,
Yeah.
right? That if we're constantly focused on revenge and who's ahead of us on the run, we can't do anything. That the New York City Marathon gets tens of thousands of people and every single one but 4 loses. But yet people run the marathon because they're not there to win the race. They're there to do the race. And so if you're creating value for someone you seek to serve, you are winning, you are creating significance. And then we have to decide, is the story we are telling ourselves helping?
When did that process of thought even come in for you? Like the idea of the story that you told yourself, and how were you able to shape that through your extensive experience in this work?
I think it's available to everybody and everyone's going to find it someplace else. And if I said, go read this book or go do that course, it's not going to work for most people.
Hmm.
Just knowing it is there is the key. That sooner or later, provided you're not traumatized by the world, provided you're not being physically or emotionally abused, people will come to the conclusion that they either need to work on their story or settle. And when we work on our story, it gives us the chance, as we talked about when we started this conversation, to lead. And leadership is that exploration of the liminal space between here and there, the doing the things that might not work. And Lord knows the baby boomers made a huge mess. And we're asking people like you, unfortunately, to clean it up. And that's only going to happen when people like you show up and do things that might not work.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think there's a point you talk about this in your book as well. How do we avoid false proxies?
I can talk about false proxies for 6 hours.
I'll do
So
it.
as we seek to wrap this up, I guess what I
Yeah.
would say is we need to judge a book by its cover because you're not allowed to read the book before you buy it. We need to judge the ketchup by the cover because you can't taste the ketchup before you leave the store.
Mhm.
So we're understandably connected to labels. The problem is in a shifting world at work, the labels get in the way. They lead to caste systems. They lead to prejudice. They lead to misogyny. They lead to us hiring people who look like us or are good at interviewing, as opposed to finding people who are good at actually doing the work to be done. And the most important thing we can do is name it. And then the second most important thing we can do is find actual proxies and believe, once we test them, that we can commit to them. And in Moneyball, Michael Lewis talked about how this can help you win a pennant, but it works when they make brownies down the street at the Greyston Bakery, and it works in just about any successful organization. We need to find people who are enrolled in the journey and who are capable of putting in the real skills to get it done, not judging people by things based on power and affiliation, because those are a trap.
Absolutely.